Representative Belsito of the 53rd District.
Sam, you're going to say yes to this. Sam, you're going to support this bill.
Here we go, one more time. 14,387 surveys. And now we have another one. Mr. Speaker, through you, I would like to ask the proponent a question.
Frame your question, sir.
Whatever I want. Mr. Speaker, what are the specific industries you are going to be surveying? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative PERONE.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer that. Certainly the tech sector in the state of Connecticut is a very fluid and dynamic and exciting area. I think that I would imagine that through available funds through the DECD, they will determine the areas that they feel are that should be examined and explored. That's why the bill does not prescribe in statute what those are. It's really at the pleasure of the DECD. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Belsito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry, but I didn't hear the proponent's answer, and he's only 3 steps away from me.
Will the House please tone down your voices so that the gentleman can hear one another speak? Representative PERONE, please restate.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Speaker. As I said, the technology sector really in Connecticut is actually very diverse and dynamic in that it does work off various sectors synergistically very well. However, the DECD would, in fact, determine where they feel and how they feel they need to better understand the needs and the trends required to inform them as to what sort of resources they need to target and where they need to focus their attention. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Belsito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is there a chance we could get the number of states we're going to look at? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative PERONE.
Through you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't quite hear that question. Did you say? I'd like to ask the questioner. Did you say states? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Belsito.
Plural.
Will you please restate your question?
To the proponent, Mr. Speaker, can you tell me which states you're going to investigate for certain industries? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative PERONE.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, I would have to say that the state of Connecticut would be first and foremost. However, certainly where applicable, where like technologies are doing well, I think that based on the need, they would examine any state that they would need to in order to make a better determination as to how to improve our own sector. Through you.
Representative Belsito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks the proponent for his answers.
Representative Shaban of the 135th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Here we go again. Study 14,735. But I rise in support of the technology sector because this is one of our bills. So I urge my colleagues to support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, sir.